Today I'm going to be going over our lower body training session that I'm using to stay strong, powerful, and in shape during rugby, but you could simply adjust some of the sets and the reps and use it for strength and power. So I'm starting off with a little bit of a higher isometric here. This is a yielding isometric. I'm trying to just get my tendons and joints prepared for the onslaught I'm about to put them through to try to develop some explosive power. So if you have any tendon or joint issues, I highly recommend that you do some isometrics, especially if you're a little older athlete like myself. Okay, so now these look dumb, but they are marches, and what they are doing is that they are absolutely blowing up your glute medius and your hips. Okay, really great. After I do those, I always feel a lot lighter on my feet and a little bit better. Now I'm just going into a little bit deeper of an isometric and going into the pain cave and holding anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds with this. Okay. Again, the isometrics are a great way to help get some blood flow into the area and get you warmed up. Now I'm just going to go into some squats, just deep squats. I'm just trying to work a little bit of a range of motion before I actually get into more of like our dynamic and our plyometric work here. So this is like pretty light for me. So this is like more warm-up style than anything. Those aren't the greatest squat techniques. I'm just trying to get depth. Okay, now we're moving into our power and our plyometric work. Okay, normally I wouldn't use a med ball. I would be using bands as I like them a little bit more, and normally if I was going to be doing med balls, I'd be using a little bit lighter of a med ball. This is like an 18 or 20 pound med ball, which I prefer more of a 10 pound med ball, 10 to 15. So we're just doing a little bit of a contrast set. So this is the first set. I'm doing 2 to 3 loaded med ball jumps, and then I'm doing 2 to 3 skater jumps without the med ball. Okay, when you're doing the med ball jump, you get some it's hard load when you push out, and then you get overspeed on the way out. Now, same thing with my horizontal plyometric that I'm doing here, which is our power movement or broad jump. I normally would be using the bands. The bands that I could use at this gym, since I didn't bring my own, would have snapped and hit my ass so hard I was not willing to do it. So I just simply added a little bit of a weight, 10 pounds on each side. Again, same thing. First set, I'm doing a little bit of a contrast set, okay? I'm doing the 2 to 3 with the load, and then I'm going into the 2 unloaded. Now, these are called oscillating jumps, okay? So all I'm trying to do is work that deeper position, get my body feeling warm, coordinated to get in and out of the bottom of a squat here. I just did one set of that. Now, going back into the skaters, where I'm trying to load, jump out, land, and stick, okay? These are definitely challenging. Then you can see now I gave myself a little marker to beat so I can actually get further with the skater jumps, trying to press off that outside leg as hard as I can and jump as far as I can. Now these ones I made a little bit more dynamic. Okay, so I went 2 jumps here, and I'm trying to show you variations so you can use some of these in your training. And then I went to a more advanced version, which is the repeat broad jumps, where now you're having to be a little quicker with it. Okay, my main power-based movement for the day was some hang power cleans. I did 4 sets of 5 at 225 without trying to drop the bar. These were super challenging. You're going to see by the end of this, my shirt is just sweated through. Okay. My whole intention with this power or hang power clean right now was to immediately redirect the force. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, I'm a rugby athlete, contact athlete, so I saw this machine in there, and since I needed to rest 3 to 5 minutes in between my power-based work anyways, I figured, hey, let's get some neck training in, because most people skip it and don't do it at all, especially our athletes who are making tackles and want to avoid some concussions. This can definitely help you be better prepared for that. Okay, so get your neck training in, do isos, do this if you have it. All right, now back to the power clean. Okay, so I think I do a power clean here from the floor, whatever, just getting it up. Then I'm going back into that hang power clean. I want you to watch as that bar hits, I'm trying to redirect as quickly as I can back on up. Okay, so I'm trying to prepare myself a little bit for contact and making tackles, being able to drive through, so absorbing some of that force and then immediately redirecting and getting on back out with the clean. Okay, getting a little fatigued. These are actually pretty goddamn tiring when you're doing 5 reps of these. Also, great dynamics grip strength training, because if you're catching it and not dropping it, holy shit, it works the shit out of your grip. You're gonna see I'm gonna try for this right now, and guess what? I fucking lose it. Oh wait, I got that one. I must have cut it off. Okay. All right, now main strength movement. Now this can be any squat that you want. This can be Zercher, back, front squat, whatever. Okay, I'm using the box squat because I have a game in 2 days, or 3 days, sorry. And the box squat is a great way to get a huge strength stimulus on the body that doesn't like have too much eccentric fatigue, so you're not going to get super sore. You're not going to get like super fried from it, like feel like a piece of shit the next day, but you can go really heavy and get a huge force and strength output stimulus. Now, we were doing this in a contrast set, so if you go back and watch the video earlier, we did a horizontal plyometric and we did a lateral plyometric with our skater and broad jumps. Now we're doing a contrast set with our box squat into a vertical jump where, again, I'm using like 10 pounds for 2 reps, and then I drop and then go into 2 to 3 reps of jumping higher. Okay, so this is my top set, working at about 85 to 87% of a 1 rep max for the box, and then we're moving on to our accessories after this. So now we're going to get into our hamstring work. This is just eccentric focused Nordic hammy curl. That felt pretty good. I haven't done these in a while. This one I try to full send it, no hands. I'm trying to slow myself as slow as I possibly can, keeping my hips forward. I fail, have to walk my ass back on up. For these, I did 2 sets, about 5-6 reps. I think a lot of athletes mess these up where they push their toes and then they get calf cramps. So you got to actually try to pull your toes forward, and you got to try to keep your hips forward as possible. Now we're just getting into some actual hypertrophy sort of work. Like, I don't have pads as a rugby player, so if I'm going to be taking hits on the quads, like, I need a little bit of meat on the bone. You can see me poking and trying to just provide a mechanical cue or a tactile cue for my VMO. I struggle to get my VMO to turn on, so if I put my 2 fingers like that, typically I can hit the VMO a little bit more and keep going for it. Now, when I'm doing hypertrophy based work, it's usually at the end of my training session, 2, maybe 3 sets till failure. And then I finish up with some mobility. So you can see the structure of athletic performance training. It's not crazy fucking exercises. It's not stupid fucking exercises. It's just a system of exercises put in the correct order to get the most out of them. So you saw we warmed up, we did plyos and power. Then we went into our power-based training, which was our Olympic lift variation. Okay, then we went into our main strength stimulus. Then we hit opposing muscle groups for accessory and hypertrophy. Okay, now we're going through mobility work here. I had lateral lunges as well, and then I go through some hip flexor work. So this is some of that more accessory-based work around the hips and typical movements that just don't get hit and muscles that don't get hit in a standard strength or a standard type of bodybuilding sort of split. Okay. These muscles are important for athletes because we use them a ton in running, jumping, cutting, all of that stuff, okay? Now, after this, all we're going to do is finish with a little bit of conditioning. This is totally optional, okay? Like I said, I got a game in a few days. I need to get my ass in shape, so I'm doing some sled pushes and sled, if you want to call them a sprint. I don't know if they're actually a sprint. into some running. Okay, so this is just like grunt work. Basically, what I'm trying to do here, it's not any like I could get fancy and say, oh, I'm trying to hit this specific energy system and blah 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 and do this. Nah, honestly, like I'm trying to make my legs feel like absolute shit and get my mind used to having my legs feel blown up and having to jog and run with them in there, because that's what's going to happen in the game. It just is. And that's all I'm trying to do. So you can see I started with 2 sled pushes down and back, and then I went into another one, and then now I'm going into jogging twice the length. So I'm going to push, hopefully going as fast as I can, pretty much turn to a slow fucking walk. This is all continuous, and then jog back down. And I went for 5 total rounds for this one. I believe it was around 5 to 6 minutes of just continuous effort. Trying to pick my knees up. When I'm running, I'm not trying to do like a full sprint. I'm just trying to keep everything moving, reduce the amount of kind of time I have to rest with it. But this is the strength and conditioning training that I'm doing. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you learned something. And if you want to see more training and more no bullshit strength and conditioning for athletes, hit that like, hit that follow, hit the little bell notification so you can see when I post more and more and more, and give me a comment for what type of video you want to see next. This is just a workout video, but I do a ton of other types. And I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.